Do you ever pass a building and wonder what it might have been like to live in it, have it as your normal? To put up the Christmas lights or menorah or pus sock on the balcony every December, staring at the pixels on your monitor, seeing the same blinds and ceiling fans, stucco, concrete, brick, marble, hot wax, ash. Your feet would barely touch the ground, concentrating on bills or YouTube drama, grandma's kidney stones or your uncle's special hard drive, swimming in ideas and requirements and errands and favors. You'd pay people back, build people up, dick people down, drive people away. That same grayish or bluish or ponnish room would surround you, buzzing with light, as you enter and leave and cry and hope and forget. You'd always have something to think about, like the meta-universal fact that where you actually live right now might as well have been in that building. Your life may as well have been that one. And it's important to realize that everything you currently think about doesn't exist in a vacuum, unless, for example, you have a really specific and life-consuming kink. You can't really think about anything without thinking about the past. Stubbing your toe reminds you of stubbing your toe tens of times. Average COD lobby reminds you of the time you heard that one guy scream bad words out in public. Certain pyrocynical allegations remind you of the time you learned that something most people think is hilarious, you actually think is kind of hot. You're shaped by the shame the world tells you to feel. That swapping cummies on the bus isn't cool. Or that don't drink that water. Do drink that extra shot. All your opinions come from this desperate face battle of yeses and nos. Some people think one way, and other people think another way. Sometimes you're some people, other times you're other people. And all you did, just like everyone, is stumble into your life. You popped out of that canal without a gondola, and from picosecond one, innocence began leaking out your ears. You hear that word innocence a lot. But what does innocence mean? Most people think it's your unawareness of things that are socially taboo, like mutual pleasure or solitary pleasure. But I think a better definition relates to your understanding of suffering. Do you recognize that some people suffer? Do you think about how you might not know the extreme extent to which people actually suffer? If yes, let's say you're not innocent. Congrats, you can apparently now form some sort of ideology. But wait! The weird thing about ideology is that we expect and sometimes require almost everyone else to have one. We socially accept most people's rigid views about everything from American Dad speedrunning to moist critical reincarnation to categories like race, religion, class, ass hair color, social security number, sexuality, piss angle, as a necessary result of the fact that we live lives as distinct individuals. We do it just as polite convention, so it's not likely a great idea to suddenly tell half the people in your life that they're wrong in some way. But shouldn't we stop using the so-called loss of innocence, the increase in age, the experimenting in college, or our star sign compatibilities to justify thinking of ourselves as people who've discovered some sort of truth? Shouldn't we think back to all the conflicting yeses and nos we've heard in our lives and consider that those pony jar owners aren't saying yes because they hate being right? It's socially easier to think that that's not your business, but shouldn't it be your business to ask yourself the question someone who disagrees with you might? There's no necessary reason to think your beliefs aren't mostly reasonable, but it's important to keep in mind that you might be a no to most people's yes. So despite all the kidney stones, broken bones, student loans, lava cones, methadones that give context to why you believe, you're still just one of billions who once left Spawn without being camped to start feeling, thinking, and doing, and who feel good when you feel right. But more to make sure you're not thrusting yourself in a rabbit hole. Doesn't it feel better and more truthful to also think you might be wrong about everything?